All right, well, hello everybody. This is Pam again. Thank you for joining me and coming to my channel. If you like my previous videos and what you see today, please don't forget to subscribe, and I welcome your comments and any information that you'd like to share with me, or perhaps any requests for different videos. So this video is a monthly review, and it's going to be a quick flip through of November. I use the DIY fish inserts. I absolutely love them. I find them incredibly useful in helping me be on track and productive. And but I also like to decorate my planner pages, so you'll see that I use quite a bit of washi tape and stickers and so forth. If that's not your thing, you know, that's quite all right. We all do our own thing, whatever makes us happy. But don't feel like in order to use DIY fish inserts, you have to do it like I do it. I just wanted to share how I'm using them, and perhaps it'll inspire you to you know, come up with some ways that you like to do it. Now, I did a previous post about this, the monthly page. It's with DIY fish insert. It's the first page is to track whatever you need to track. I touched on it a little bit. I was in a car accident, so I suffer from chronic back pain, and I also have fibromyalgia. So I'm tracking different things, trying to figure out correlations, if any. So that's what I use that for, and I had a viewer ask me to do a more in-depth review on that, so I will be doing that for November, as well as a view into how I set up December based on what I learned from my November tracking. But anyway, here's the month, and then this was my monthly goals. These correlate to the Level 10 Life that I talked about in a previous post. Let me just go to that real quick. I have it in my divider under goals. So the Level 10 Life, you can Google it or you know, look it up and see what it's about. But it's all about, if you want to take your personal and or professional life to the next level and ultimately get to what you consider to be a Level 10 life, this outlines how to do it. And you take a self-assessment and you identify where you are in the areas of your life that you are concentrating on, and you identify those. Nobody's telling you what they should be. And you take a self-assessment, you identify where you are currently, and then you identify the steps you need to take to get you to that next level. And for me, I started this in October, so I had different goals in October. Some of them I carried over into November. Some were completely new, depending on how I did in October. So you can see my monthly goals for November. Everything that is filled in with blue are the things that I did well and or consistently throughout the month of November. And I'm quite pleased with those. However, the areas where you see the red X's, those are the things I did not do, or I didn't do them consistently. And so I have to, when I set up my December planner, I have to revisit my goals and ask myself, is this important enough for me to focus on again in November, or did I not do it because really it wasn't important, or did I not do it because I was lazy or I was too busy, etc. And I have to decide if I want to carry it over and try to put more focus on it. So those are my goals. Let's go into the daily pages. Now, actually, I was talking to Shen, the inventor of the DIY fish system, and she actually recommended that I don't use the weekly inserts because for me, I'm not using them to their full potential, and I have to agree with her. I mean, it's really all I'm doing is keeping my week wrapped up in it. I'm not really using them. So for when I set up December, I'm not going to be using those anymore. But let's get right into the daily pages. Now, I did a previous video on the first 2 weeks of November, so I don't want to go into a lot of detail on those in this video post for those of you that have already seen it. So as I'm flipping through these first couple of weeks, I'll just mention a couple of things for the new viewers. This weekly chart that is also part of the DIY Fish inserts, I use one of these each week, and this is what I use to track all my work to-dos. And I simply move it from each 2-day spread every day. And then at the end of the week, I store it as my last page of the week, and I'll create a new one for the next week. And again, I'll continue moving it into each 2-day spread for each subsequent day. I have found that that works really, really well for me. Not only that, if I have to refer back to something that I did, I've got it there. However, I'm not sure that I will keep them permanently when I store my month. I'll probably just trash them. There's no reason for me to store them. So anyway, moving on to the next week. For those of you that are seeing my planning system for the first time, I did change the DIY Fish layout just a little bit by doing an overlay on top of her pages. Her pages are just, here's a previous month, they're just white like this with the grid, and I just did an overlay on top. I liked the little graphic. I put a little graphic overlay, kind of making it, you know, my own, without changing anything of hers. Hers, it's copyrighted, so, and I certainly don't sell these, but she doesn't mind if you personalize these for your use. So anyway, I just changed the layout of the categories themselves to what worked for me. And I have my top personal to-dos up here, and then I'll put my schedule, that's, you know, work meetings as well as personal appointments. And then up here in this top box, I put my inspirational quote, and down here I put a daily affirmation. That's all part of, you know, getting to a level 10 life. I've identified one of my major goals is living a life of gratitude, so I make sure to log daily things that I'm thankful and grateful for. And then I use the second page for Bible study. And I find, oh, and I also use it for journaling too. And I often journal in this section as well, kind of 5-minute journal techniques where you just, you know, make a couple of notes, couple of sentences. I don't have the need personally to do a lot of extensive journaling. This meets my needs. But I like very much that this system is helping me to accomplish the goals that I set out for myself. And again, that was living a life of gratitude. I want to choose to be happy even though I'm living you know, daily with chronic back pain and fibromyalgia. So this really helps me do that. And you'll see I track my mood up here as well as the weather, kind of a journal, bullet journaling type of thing. And it's amazing, you know, it's mind over matter. I'm happy, I'm very happy, and this helps me do that. Keeps my mind straight. You know, anyway, get into that a little bit later. I also follow the Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and he's changed my life as well. So daily I do these things called the Savers, and that's some silence, whether it's meditation or prayer. A is your daily affirmation. V is visualization of your goals. E is exercise. In my case, because of my physical problems, I do stretching and yoga. And R is reading. That's part of my goals. I read at least 2 books each month, and I love the fact that I'm doing that. And the last one, S, is scribing, and that's journaling, and that's what I'm doing with all of this. So the Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, I highly recommend it as well. So it combined with the Level 10 Life has really turned my life around. And I was not in a good place. I don't mind sharing you. I had a divorce about 5 years ago, and different things going on in my life that just really took its toll on me. And I'm in a much better place now. And I really think it's about how we choose to address those. So as I continue going through my November spread, you'll see that I like to use washi tape and stickers and different colored pins, etc. And I will tell you, I predominantly use friction pins. Let me see if I can show that to you. Friction. Come on, focus. It's Frixion. It's not cooperating. I'm sorry, but it's Frixion. This one in particular has 3 different colors, but you can get the entire gambit of colors, and you can get them in extra fine, fine, and medium. I tend to go with the extra fine or fine, just because I'm writing a lot and I want to have enough room for it. And what's wonderful about them is you can write with them. Like, look, you're going, oh no, don't mess up your spread. But you can write, and then it completely erases. And this is ink. This is not something else. I just love these pens. I make a lot of mistakes, and I hate to see mistakes or white out, etc. in my planner. And so with friction pens, I don't have that. Anytime I use regular markers or whatever, invariably I'll spell something wrong, and then I'm like, I gotta use whiteout. So anyway, I use my friction pens, and just moving along, we're almost down to the end here, and I want to show you part of, I identified my monthly goals in the beginning. Well, at the end of the month, I reflect on the month and compare my goals to how I actually did. So, remember I told you with the Level 10 Life, I took a self-assessment on the areas that I identified, and I rated myself. And you can see some I did well on, some not so well. I'm an introvert, and I love doing art and different crafts and everything, so I spend a lot of time in my house. I love the outdoors, but things I like to do are inside. They're not necessarily outdoors, and so that's something I rated myself very low on, and I would like to get a little bit better on it. Anyway, I identified some things that I want to do in order to get myself to the next level and ultimately to the Level 10 Life, and then from that I identified my monthly goals. I had different goals in October. Some I transferred over to November. I identified some new ones. I dropped off some, etc. So it's constantly about evaluating and reevaluating. And then part of it also is an honest retrospect of your month. So it's identifying your top 10 achievements. This is you. It's nobody else rating you. It's yourself. So you identify what you felt your top 10 achievements were. I'm sorry, I'm not going to show you this information, but it's what did I learn this month, people I learned from and that I was inspired by, what were my greatest insights that I gained over the past month, what were the obstacles and fears that I encountered inside myself, and finally, how do I feel about my progress this month? And I do, I'm honest on that, and with being honest with yourself, it helps you identify how you want to continue in the next month. And then lastly, this last page of November, I have it set up for like a pictorial review of my month. And unfortunately, I'm not an artist in terms of I can't draw. I can't even draw stick figures, although I love doing mixed media and stuff like that. So one thing I did in October, this is my month of October, this is how I did a pictorial of my October memories. I just wrote the different things that I did. This is stuff that stood out in my mind, things that I did, things that I learned, people that I was with, places things that were happening in life in general. I noted it here like that, and I plan to do that again for November. As I progress, maybe I'll start incorporating some of my different mixed media in there. I'm not sure how this paper will hold up to different mixed media, but maybe some gelatos or something like that, who knows. But what I do throughout the month is I make a list of the different things that were memorable, so that way when I go to do this page, I don't have to try to remember. It's all right there. So that'll be the last thing I do to finish out November. And then, of course, my setup of December will be another video post for you all. So that's it. That's November. I hope you found this inspiring and maybe got some ideas for your own planning and maybe some things that you want to do in your life. I appreciate you spending your time with me today. I hope you enjoyed. God bless and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.